Today we're being joined by potential Aflw Draftee from the Greater Western Victoria Rebels side, Brook Ward. Brook, thanks for coming on.
Thanks so much for having me.
No worries. Tell us a bit about yourself, what type of player you are and what got you into footy.
I'd say I'm a bit of like I don't know, I generally play mid, but sort of swing forward and back, bit of a like all-rounder, I guess, a bit versatile. And I think just mucking around with my cousins when I was a kid sort of got me into footy, and Dad took me down to an Oz kick training, and I loved it. So haven't looked back.
It's very good. So obviously you mentioned too about playing a few positions, and I'm sure as you're fully aware nowadays, especially in both men's and women's competitions, versatility is key. So to play all positions is even if it's for little bit bursts here and there, to get used to every position in a team when you get to a team, and then if you're only a one position player and you're struggling, you're more than likely to find your way out of the side.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like chatting with Sal all the time, I think, and with Dad and everything, like versatility and being able to play wherever is, I don't know, I feel like it's really important, just gives you a bit more opportunities going forward.
And more than likely, they want you to, I can go as well, so for sure, works well. Now, we're going to, there's a lot of things we're going to talk about. I'm really school prep now. People might be going school premiership. I don't care what. You won that school premiership without an ACL. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I did my ACL back in June and didn't really realise it until a couple of weeks later. So I actually had Vic Country trial game in those 2 weeks as well. So that was the week before. And then in the second week, I had the school footy grand final. And yeah, it got a bit sore after that. So I went in for an MRI the next morning and found out that's what I'd done. But yeah, it was a pretty unique sort of game. That's for sure.
Yeah. How did you actually go in? Well, first off in the school premiership and then that Vic Country trial game, which we'll get to shortly.
Yeah. School footy, like it was actually one of the better games of school footy I've ever played. Like I got a couple of goals in that game, and I reckon my last half was, well, I was told it was pretty good. So I was happy with how it went, and yeah, just sort of pulled up real sore afterwards. So
yeah, I can imagine. It's just amazing. Clearly, you don't want an ACL injury, but it's pretty cool to a degree. Not that you had the injury, but that you didn't know you had the injury and you still played well.
Yeah, I think like when I first did it, it was sort of like I knew it was quite sore when it happened, but just like I got up afterwards and was running around and stuff, so I didn't think it was anything major. Like if I'm still running around, and to get cleared to play the trial game for Vic Country, my physio Gelge, awesome guy, he had me like hopping around the change rooms, and I was hopping around on one, like on the bad knee, and I was hopping fine. So yeah, it was just like a bit of a mystery, but yeah.
Now, obviously playing in that, I think it was a trial game, wasn't it? The Vic Country Metro's 2 squads that they had. How important was it for you to play? I mean, yes, you were playing without an ACL, but how important is it to even get that game or two in that competition against those best names? Because some of those guys clearly got drafted this year and some will this year.
Yeah, no, I think it was like I was pretty worried that I wasn't going to be able to play, and I'm so glad I did because the experience was so good. Like just getting to go up against people like that, and I think I actually did. Like I held my ground, I guess, and sort of played to my strengths, and yeah, also snagged a couple of goals in that game too. So I was happy with how it went. I'm just like really glad that I did get to do that before it was confirmed.
Because I mean, it gives you some confidence going into this year about the entire competition for yourself, and if you get the opportunity again to be in those sides and play against the state teams and everything like that, it just makes it ultra more. Well, it's important, but also it gives you that confidence as well that, gee, if I can do this without an ACL and kick a couple of goals against those best players, well, then you could potentially do that, if not better, when you're actually fully fit with an ACL.
Yeah, and it's like it sort of fueled me going forward because I know if that's what I'm capable of, not at full match fitness, then, like I'm just so keen and pumped to reach my potential and, yeah, see what the future has in store for me.
So you mentioned that was in June of last year. So how's the process been through that injury since you officially stopped playing without an ACL?
Yeah, so I'm about 7 months post-op, and like it's been hard, but it's gone so much quicker than I thought it would. And I've still been really involved with the Rebels and like club footy and whatnot back home. So yeah, it's been not nearly as bad as I thought it would be. And I just like I'm so determined to get back and get back even stronger than before, and you know, really show like what I can do in this year.
That's very good. It's a good way to think about it. Now, I think I know the answer based on what you just said, but once you officially found you'd done the ACL, you said you were determined as ever, so I assume that's what you're going to say. But was there ever any doubts of giving up or having a break from it once you first? Because I know some people, for everyone, it's hard to take and cope with it. But how did you go about it? Did you go, nope, I'm coming back?
Yeah, it definitely, like from what I've heard, it definitely goes one way or the other for most people. But I was so determined to come back. Like after I'd been told, I'm like, well, that's all right. It's an opportunity for me to strengthen like other parts of my game, like my craft and everything, and really knuckle down on what I can control, and yeah, just come back better than before. So yeah.
That's good. So what would you say is some of your strengths as a footballer? Obviously versatility would be one, but what are some other strengths for you as a footballer?
I think like my size and like my strength, I guess, like the ability to lay a tackle, I guess, and just body on sort of contact stuff. I think I'm pretty good at that, and my ability to read the play. Like I just find that I feel like I'm a smart footballer and I can sort of judge what's going to happen before it does, and I'm not. That sort of makes up for, I guess, the way, like I know I'm not as athletic as some other players, but I can make up for it by being smarter than them.
So do you recall who you played on in that Vic Country trial game?
I went up against, I reckon it might have been Amber Shuddy. I went up against her, I think, and I'm pretty sure Gemma Ramsdale was on the other team as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was in the forward line with the likes of like Soph Butterworth and Chantel Mason, and yeah, some pretty cool names. So it was a good team, but it was definitely challenging.
So now you mentioned being on Amber Shuddy, obviously someone else who got drafted this year to the Pies, and obviously Gemma was also close herself. So what confidence do you give also on top of only playing well, but playing against people that are, well, in Gemma's case, just missing out, but in Amber's case, getting picked up?
Yeah, like it gives me, like it's sort of empowering to know that I can go up against that with confidence as well. Like I didn't find myself being too intimidated or anything. And yeah, it just like sort of reaffirms where I'm at and, like what my potential is, I guess.
For sure. Now, obviously, getting into your draft year this year, what are some goals you set for yourself this year, and how do you approach this season?
I think a few goals I've got is just to like obviously get back to playing and get back to full fitness, and yeah, hopefully at the end of the year get drafted. But on a smaller scale, probably just be a bit more of a team player and like a better leader, like a bit of personal growth in that sort of aspect, and definitely just be a bit of a cleaner player when I do get back. First touch and hit like targets as much as I can, I guess. Yeah.
And so you touch on their leadership, and you mentioned before too about you always being around the group, injury or not. Is leadership something that you're either in right now or something that you're looking to get into?
Yeah, well, I had a leadership position with Millie Lang last year, sort of like a junior leadership type thing. So, but yeah, I've always, like in most teams that I've been in, I've found that I'm just a bit of a like natural leader, I guess. I like to, help people out where I can and be a team player like that.
Yeah, sure. Of the draftees that got drafted this year, last year, technically going to be technical. Who's someone that you're looking forward to see how they progress? Because I'm sure you played with some of them as well.
Definitely Jess Wrench. It was pretty cool when she got picked to the West Coast, and obviously we're good mates through Rebels. So really excited to see what she does, and probably Lauren Young. Like I've been following her in footy for a while, and yeah, it'll be like, it's so exciting to see what all these girls can achieve, because obviously they're at that level and they've been recognised for their hard work, and yeah, it's really exciting for them.
Yeah, I can. Two very good names you mentioned there. So with Loz, obviously, and like you, I've been a big fan of her work for a while, and she's just been so dominant for a long time. I know she had an ACL injury herself. I think it was 2022, and she was about 3-4 years in advance about when she gets drafted, how good she'll be, and that's a credit to her for her work, and then to get talked about 2 years, 3 years in advance that she'd be top and be number one. And Jess, obviously, you mentioned as well. Obviously, she was really excited that draft. Like everyone would be, but I think that Jess's reaction, for me, at least for the AFLW side of things, at least, is probably the best reaction I've seen.
Yeah, she's a pretty emotive sort of person, but yeah, it was pretty cool to see her get drafted. I was just so pumped for her.
Seems to be a bit of a character. Is that true?
Oh, definitely, for sure. Yeah, she loves it.
That's good. Have you been given any advice this year on how to handle this draft? Obviously, a lot of people probably try and say they're trying to just focus on their foot and let that do the talking, not try and overthink things. How do you, what advice are you being told?
For me personally, just to sort of take a step back and have a bit more of a bit better perspective on things, sort of, I don't know, I guess to stay grounded. I can't control what does happen in the future, so I'm just going to focus on what I can control, and let the footy do the talking when I get back, I guess. And not think too much, not think too far ahead, because it's out of my control.
What player comparison would you best describe yourself as in terms of the style of play? Like any AFL, any AFL or AFLW play, try and compare yourself with the style you play like?
Probably someone like Danielle Ponta from Adelaide,
Correct.
I reckon. Yep. And I don't know, if I was playing forward, a Chloe Shear type player from Geelong, I think. But yeah, I don't know. I think my versatility sort of, I guess, is a little bit unique, and yeah.
That's because there's not many players. You mentioned about all the positions you played in. I mean, players that play at either end of the ground, but to play midfield and other positions as well is, as we said before, very, very important. Any nicknames you get at the club that you like or dislike?
I get Chuka most of the time, but yeah, I don't really know. Probably Claire Money loves calling me Skip, but yeah, that's about it. Chuka and Skip.
All right. Sometimes that's the best thing. Sometimes. Any coaches' pets at the Rebels?
Oh, honestly, probably me. They definitely would have got sick of me in the last half of last year hanging around when I wasn't playing. But yeah, Bella Davies a bit too. She loves the coaches. But no, it's all sort of not in like a coach's pet kind of way, just like asking questions and being annoying.
No, that's fair enough. Reverse it the other way. I like it. Where was I? So any outside of footy interests that you have?
I really enjoy just getting out in the river. Love the Wimmera River at home, and I do lots of walking now, but other than that, not much really. I did play a bit of basketball for a while, but yeah.
I was actually going to ask you, did you play any other sports growing up? How were you at basketball?
Oh, I only played domestic. I was not very good, but I did a bit of rowing too as a kid, and yeah, that's about it. I was not as interested as what my other siblings were and everything, so I just did not get that involved. I was just so focused on footy.
That's fair enough. Any favourite TV shows or movies?
I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That's probably my favourite. I really enjoy watching The Last Dance too on Netflix. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I've heard Brooklyn Nine-Nine a fair few times every time I ask this. Yeah. In their draft year as well, in particular, that seems to be a trend these days.
Yeah.
Heard of it clearly, but I might have to check it out maybe since I keep hearing.
Oh, definitely get into it. I think I've seen it 8 times. It's probably an unhealthy obsession, but that's okay.
Well, I have with other shows as well. I mean, Big Bang Theory, 2.5 Men, The Mentalist. Or just dropped out there. So yeah, I'll just repeat it here. It's even the Simpsons. I don't really.
Oh yeah, that's not a bad one. That's a good one.
And I mean, you you love the show so much when you rewatch it, word for word what's coming. And you say,
Yeah.
punch in the face. Yep, he's about to get hit. One, you just know it. That's
it's pretty good.
Sure. I was like, now the best individual game you feel you've ever played in. What game do you feel like has gotten you into the position that you're in now? That strikes.
Yeah, probably. Like I think just last year I was sort of building. Like I did not have the greatest game in the first game of the season, but I reckon I don't know which round it was, but against Gippsland at Kilsyth, I think. I reckon I'd sort of like my first half of that game was pretty unreal. Or not unreal, but it was. I felt really good and confident in myself when I was playing that game, and probably the Vic Country trial game too. That was definitely one of my better ones as well.
For sure. I mean, as we've mentioned a fair few times, no ACL, kicking 2 goals against some of it's it's pretty hard to go past unless you get a game where there's 30 possessions or there's 5 goals or stopping the best player in the composite defender. Then it's hard to top that, I guess.
Yeah.
What are some fun facts about you that some people may or no one may not know?
Well, I'm actually half Kiwi, so my mum's from New Zealand, which is some people might not know that, but yeah, that's one of them. I can do the splits as well. I don't know if I can still. I haven't tried in a while, but yeah.
But I'm not going to make you demonstrate it on here.
No. Cool.
But would you say you're all right at it, though?
Pardon?
Would you say that you're all right at doing the splits, though?
I reckon, I used to be really good at it, but yeah, I just haven't tried in a while, so I can do them both ways as well.
Very good. Well, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Who do you feel is the best player in this year's draft crop? Because obviously, there's probably one name that always comes to mind for me is Accenture, a bit like talked out for so long. Who would you say?
Yeah, well, you can't go past Ash Central. She's such a strong, dominant player. She's unreal. But it is probably a bit biased, but Millie Lang's definitely up there for me too. Just the way she defends and reads the play, it's pretty unique and it's really cool to watch. Yeah.
I'm sure Millie actually is another one that I've heard a bit about, but not just this year, but even last year as well. So obviously, when the draft comes around later this year, which team do you go up voting for? AFL or AFLW?
I go for Dogs in both, but kind of struggle to follow the footy sometimes just because I'm so busy doing my own stuff. But yeah, definitely Doggies all the way.
So how do you feel they went in both competitions? Also, the women's definitely struggled by finishing. But the men's are just outside the game, not their greatest year. How did you assess them?
I think the Doggies, the men's went obviously not as well as would have liked, but I think they still had a really strong season, and it's just a bit of a testament of what's to come and the work that they've done. And same as the girls, I feel like it's a bit of a younger side, and I saw a thing the other day. It's Ali Blackburn is the only inaugural AFLW player left at the Dogs, which is pretty unreal. So I guess they've sort of a bit of a younger side, might struggle a bit, but I think they'll start coming around and will be pretty strong in the next couple of years, hopefully.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're going to have a new coach, Nathan Burke's no longer there, and then they put in a bunch of players throughout the trade period. Jazz Smith is someone that comes on, Lauren Arends as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they go with those new recruits. Sometimes they say, though, they take time, so maybe not this year coming, but maybe the year after, see progress back up the ladder. Who loves the limelight, the attention, the camera at the Rebels or any of the teams you've been a part of, and why?
Definitely Wrenchy, but she's just that sort of personality. But I reckon Claire Marnie sort of unintentionally gets a lot of the spotlight. I just always see her pop up in photos and stuff, and it's pretty funny because she's not trying to at all.
I was going to say, so it might be one of those hidden secrets where she knows where the cameras say at training or a game, they go, oh, right, Toddler's on that side, I'm going to walk past them.
Yeah.
Or do something they would want to capture.
Yeah, could be. I'm not sure, but she always manages to get in a video or photo.
Very interesting. If you could poach any player or players from another club, let's say hypothetically to join the Bulldogs, so you can put your list manager hat on, who would you want to join the Dogs and why?
I would love to see Georgie Prasparkas at the Dogs because she is such a gun. Like, yeah, she's such a good player. And if I could poach like a past player, definitely Chelsea Randall. Like, I love her, like, courageous sort of energy, and yeah, she's a gun.
Yeah, I was speaking to some people at Essendon recently. We mentioned about George Elves have been at Geelong and Maddie at Essendon.
Yeah.
Tried to poach Georgie over. Looks like that's never going to happen.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, that would have been an unreal team to have both Prasparkas sisters in the same team.
Absolutely would be. Who are some players in the draft year or even in the AFLW competition now that you feel they're underrated and they don't get talked about as much that you'd be impressed by how they go?
Definitely probably like, I don't know. It's a hard one to think about. Probably, I don't mind Britt Gutnick. I don't know how to say her last name probably, but from the Dogs, I think she has so much potential, but is sort of it's a bit of a hard situation in the team that she's in, I guess. But I think she could be really strong. But yeah, a bit of an out there one, but yeah.
The good one. I'm happy you said someone that's not an obvious choice because I always hear the same answers, even someone that's good. It's always the same bigger name. So I'm glad you mentioned someone who's fine, but not at that top. So I'm glad you said someone else. What's something someone does at the club that you cannot stand, whether it's talking too much, leaving rubbish around, trying to scare people? Is there anything that comes to mind?
No, like, I think not running all the way to the line when we go to get a drink or something, it just really grinds my gears. Like, it makes me so frustrated that we can't just all run through to the line. So I don't know why that annoys me so much, but it does.
So sometimes there's things like that aren't as obvious to some that keep annoying. People, like you said, they cut corners basically.
Yeah, that's it.
Easy. Toughest opponent. We mentioned who you played in the Vic Country game, but who would you say is the toughest opponent you've ever had to match up on, or would it be those girls that you played in that game?
Yeah, definitely the girls in the Vic Country game, but I don't know, probably like Tasmania. Like, they were so strong last year, and yeah, they were pretty good. And I come up against Jamaica Douglas from Bendigo, and she's strong, quick. She was pretty hard to play against.
But mark or goal of the year, which one would you rather do and why?
I'd say definitely mark of the year. Just like, it's a bit more, I don't know. I don't know how some people get up that high for a specky or something. I reckon that'd be pretty cool if I could do that.
Right. I mean, I pick goal person, but yeah, I agree though with why you said the mark. It is hard to do. In goal, you can kind of tin ass it, I suppose, to a degree, whereas mark probably have to put more effort to a degree because you have to get over. And probably too, if you get a mark of the year and it's a game where there's a camera or whatever, or it's been filmed, you're going to get a photo.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Profile locked and loaded.
Yeah, they're definitely.
If you were to get it, that is, of course. If you were to best describe your best goal you've ever kicked, what would that be?
Wait, what was the question? Sorry.
What is the best goal you ever kicked? Like, if you kicked a goal from the boundary, if you kicked one from 50.
I love, and I've only ever kicked it at training because I just haven't really got the opportunity in a game. But I love, like, when it bounces through the pocket, like on the right side of the goals, and goes snap like across the body, and it just dribbles in or slots in. So satisfying, especially on that tight sort of angle. Yeah, I love them. Hopefully I get the opportunity to kick one like that in the game.
That'd be very good, and hopefully it's on record as well.
Yeah.
This one can be as unrealistic as you want. if you were to best describe your best goal that you would want to do, what would it be? Would it be after the siren? Would it be something from the pocket? Would it be a torp? Would it be, what would it be? Because there's plenty of options you can decide between here.
I reckon like can't go past after the siren, like a drop punt from the boundary. That'd be pretty unreal. Yeah, that'd be cool.
One that comes to mind was in 2020 or 21, Jack Nunes, who used to be at St Kilda and Carlton, the one against Freo. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, I agree.
Pretty good. And Dan Houston, I can't forget Dan Houston's one this year, or 23 against the Bombers.
Yeah.
Let's just say I was very happy they didn't. I don't like Essendon, so I'm glad that Dan did that. And Houston, we don't have a problem because he nailed it. And Dan Houston, how he did not get goal of the year, I don't know. Now people will go, oh, well, that's not that's not good. At the moment, after the sign in the last quarter, to win the game too, in the wet, waterlogged north.
Yeah.
I don't know how that didn't win it.
Yeah, there's so much that could have gone wrong about that goal, and everything went right. And it was, a bit of a bummer that it didn't get goal of the year. I agree.
And I remember too that Ken Inkley, and he got asked about this. Also, the cameras panned him once the siren went. He was smiling, going, mate, he's no guarantee to get this. But he had full faith in Dan Houston, and I would go as far to say too that Dan Houston is the best kick in the comp.
Yeah, no, he's got a pretty elite kick. Can't go past it.
For sure. Have you ever had any AFL or AFLW player interactions as a fan, or has any players ever come down to any of the trainings?
Had a few, but I reckon my favourite, it was he wouldn't even know, but I got a high five from Tom Liberatore once, so that was pretty cool. Yeah.
It was a proper high five. It wasn't one of those where you try and walk past and they miss you?
No, it was a walk past one, but he actually hit me, so yeah, that was really exciting. Made my whole year.
That's what I'm sure it would be, and I've had stuff like that, and just getting people on here is just, as I said, a huge thing as well.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool.
Definitely is. Some defenders now, obviously defenders, they don't really get talked about as many as any of the other positions. In fact, obviously the Brownlows centred towards midfielders, and even rucks start to get recognised in votes these days. From forwards, obviously got the Coleman. Do you feel that the defenders should have their own official title award at AFL and AFLW level? And what do you think about that?
Yeah, I reckon they definitely should. Like, it's such a overlooked position for those sort of like the Brownlow and whatnot, and I don't know, best and fairest type situations. But they're like the best team players in the game, I'd say, just because like the hard work that they do and everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely overlooked, I reckon.
The only figure that I feel ever recognised. And now people could say it was more of a piss take award, but the late Danny Floyd on Bounce on Fox Footy, he had the golden fist. And, I don't know if you knew, but he would have a segment every week where he'd do his best 3-2-1 of the best three defenders only for the round. And they maybe should do something like that. I don't know about that. You can call it that or whatever you want, but something like that.
No, I rate the name Golden Fist. It makes sense. It's a good one, actually. But yeah, they definitely need something, like a bit more recognition.
Danny was so invested in that award. He literally had a freaking medal for it. We had the golden fist, and he had a button on behind the thing. And there's a long story that it kept breaking all the time. But he clicked the button, and the thing would fly up.
Yeah, I can imagine that. That'd be unreal.
Pretty cool. And you always got people on that show. You got a kid from the crowd or someone from the crowd to come click the button. Say the player's name, insert whoever got 3 votes. So I don't know, Cal Wilkie, this one's for you, and then he'd click it, and they would scream bang at him. If there's ever from that show and segments, that's the type of segment to go look back and have a look. It's pretty funny.
Definitely.
Best chatterbox at the Rebels.
Probably me, and I reckon Bella Davies. You can always get a good chat out of her. She's really good.
On then as well. So you're stuck on a deserted island with teammates. Who are you bringing and not bringing, and why?
Probably I'd bring Claire Marnie, just because like I don't know. I feel like she'd think about all the things that I wouldn't think about.
Yeah.
Probably. Who else would I bring? I don't think I'd bring Millie Lang. I think she'd just annoy me the whole time. No, I'm joking. But like, yeah, she'd think about things too much, like too much, and get too logistical, and I'd like probably get upset about it or something. I don't know.
Now, most prized possessions. What are your 3 most prized possessions?
Probably my water bottle would be number 1. I don't go anywhere without it.
Yeah.
My AirPods, I use them all the time, and probably I can't go past the footy. Yeah.
No phone, so the AirPods are kind of irrelevant. AirPods are irrelevant then.
Yeah, I feel like it's a package deal.
That's true. So everyone at your age and even at my age which is not much older than you, by the way. But yeah, you always need a phone.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think anyone in our generation would like survive without one, but yeah.
I agree. I don't know how they did back when they did it without one.
No, neither.
How they did that. A teammate you'd want to avoid and someone that you wouldn't want to avoid. It's a bit similar to the same type of question, but just in general, who would you want to avoid and not avoid and not avoid?
I would, like in a game type situation or just like whatever.
It can be in a game situation, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. I actually don't know. Like, I think I just love all my teammates, to be entirely honest. Like, I wouldn't avoid any of them, but
Yeah, good answer.
Yeah, that's my answer.
Here we are. Favorite food?
Can't go past probably like spinach and ricotta ravioli. Do not mind that at all. It's so yummy.
Not bad. What's your best dish you can cook if you do cook?
I really enjoy making. It's not really a dish, but I make my own granola, and it's my favorite thing about the week. On a Sunday, I make it for the next week. So yeah, I really like making granola.
Very good. Seems to be a trend of type of foods there. What food don't you like?
I really don't like I'm not a real big meat eater, and like the rest of my family sort of is. So I really don't like steak like at all whatsoever. Dad has one like every night, and not my thing.
Thank you. Finally, someone that says, no, I don't like steak either.
Yeah, no way.
No, well said. I can't believe I finally found someone that said they don't like steak. What is good about it? It's just chewy crap.
Yeah, it is. It's really not yum at all. Dad reckons it's the best thing on earth, and I just can't deal with it. No, not my thing.
They also have to pay for $40 sometimes at a restaurant for it.
It's so expensive. I know.
You're paying that much, even if you can afford it, just from a value point of view. Gee, it must be bloody good if you're wasting that much on it.
Yeah, I reckon. Holy moly. It's not good.
Every time you go to a restaurant, and you can see some things be so cheap, and then there's the expensive one, and it's always that. Well,
and that's the one you choose too. Like, why would you choose that? It's not good.
No, agreed. Favorite takeaway place?
Takeaway. I really like Mexican takeaway, like burrito bowls and stuff like that. I think that's yummy. I can't think of one that comes like I know over in Robe, South Australia, they've got the West Beach Cantina, and it's so good. Like takeaway burrito bowls, so yummy. Yeah.
Now, just for clarification, I have not told Brooke to say these answers. She said the exact same thing as me again. I love burrito. Meat, lettuce, onion, salsa, whatever, spice sauces. How are you with spicy food, Sue, or bigger food? Are you one that can handle it?
I don't mind spicy food. Like, it's not too bad, but I can't do like really spicy. Like, yeah, that's a bit too much for me, but just a little bit, a hint.
Now, just a tip for anyone that's not great at dealing with spicy sauces too. I can handle it. So if I couldn't handle what I'm about to say, I don't think most people can. So there was this spicy buffalo sauce, it's called. You know, you have McDonald's chips and they're in those little packets. Do never tip the whole packet in the thing and then think you're going to be able to cope with it. I couldn't even finish it. Like it was right for me.
Yeah, no, spicy is definitely not my thing. I'll keep that tip in mind.
Aaron, what are some quirks that someone would have that you don't admitting to?
Sorry, what was the question? Just cut out a bit.
What would be some quirks would have that some people would say that you have that you may not want to admit that you do?
It's cut out again. So sorry.
It's all right. Quirks. Any quirks that some have?
I feel like being double jointed would be cool. Like, I reckon I'd like that. That'd be cool. Yeah.
Got a few more questions for you, Brooks. I really appreciate you coming on. Celebrity crush.
Oh, probably Jacob Elordi. I can't go past him.
Like someone I asked yesterday, whoever they said, I can't even remember now. I have no idea who he is. So who is he?
Well, he's from Australia, but he was in like. Have you heard? Surely you've heard of that Saltburn movie.
Not really. I'm not a big movie.
Yeah, it's such a weird movie, but yeah, he was great in that, and he was on like a bunch of other Netflix movies and stuff. But yeah.
How would you fancy yourself in front of the big sticks and the goals?
Oh, I think I'm alright behind that. Get like down forward. Yeah, I'm not too bad. Like my sort of, what's it called? Like a set shot. Yeah, I reckon I'd back myself in for a set shot. As long as I'm like within range. Sometimes I get a bit in my head and then I kick it too high thinking it won't go over the people on the line, but then it drops short because it's gone too high. So definitely need to sort that out. But yeah.
For sure. I'm the exact same in front of goals. If I go, I know, like, you know your limitations, you know your distance. The further you're out, the more the accuracy goes out the window because all I'm about trying to get the distance. And as you may have seen some posted recently, I'm not bad on the pockets.
Yeah, I don't mind the pockets either. It's just like heaps rather be out in front, much easier goal.
Sure. Now, one more. I appreciate you coming on, Brooke. Your bold prediction for the AFL AFLW season, what would it be? And also, where will the Bulldogs finish in both comps? Exact number.
It'd be great if they could both finish top 8, but I'm gonna say men's. I reckon they'll just miss out, like maybe like 9th or 10th, and then women's. Definitely a bit lower down the ladder, unfortunately. But you know they're coming back. Maybe like 13th, and then we'll go top 8 for the next couple of years. But I reckon like Gold Coast Suns, they've like that plan that they've announced. I reckon they'll be pretty strong in both competitions soon. So yeah, I reckon they'll get up there.
Brooke, I really appreciate you coming. It's been great having you on. Welcome on anytime. All the best for the rest of the year from the recovery. And let's see how the form goes with an ACL. Thanks for coming on, Brooke.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks, Brooke.